right, everyone. Welcome to Market Pulse. Very happy to have Danny Samper with us here at Product Leader Academy.
Thank you all so much for having me. I wanted to recap a little bit of where we left off for anybody who did not attend last time. These would be the key takeaways from Market Pulse 1. So we highlighted that product management versus engineering. We are seeing that postings are going down for both. But that being said, engineering has definitely taken a bigger toll. So you see there 5% for product managers versus 15% this year. Another key stat that I mentioned last time was software engineering in general since 2020 has gone down 40 to 50%. And we're mainly seeing that within web and mobile roles. AI familiarity is required. Practically, AI fluency was a huge topic. Now it's not necessarily just a nice to have or plus in your resume, but a must have. 60% of job postings are referencing this. So as you can say, that's a very large number right there. It is not something that is in the past. At this point, it will be the present and the future. We've all seen that remote roles are shrinking. So just to reiterate, 22 to 25% of roles right now are posted as remote. That versus 2022 has been a very big decrease. The whole point here is to not necessarily be demotivated, but alter your approach and see how you can potentially land a remote role if that is what you're looking for. This is definitely something I want to readdress. AI specific titles right now across my desk and other recruiters that I've seen. Everything is pretty much saying AI product manager, product engineer. If you see the percentage there, 130% increase, nothing small to be noted. Increased contract roles. This is actually something that I believe is going to be happening more and more. As I mentioned, teams are getting flatter. So honestly, a lot of employers are looking for decreased cost, decreased operations. That being said, a lot of it comes with compliance and liability. If people can increase contract roles and have more of a flexible workforce, that is going to be ultimately what's best for the employer, not necessarily the employee. But if you play smart and understand how contract roles come out, potentially can pick up more of a consulting type of aspect where maybe you have now 2 to 3 contracts rather than just one full-time job. So in short summary, the product manager roles didn't necessarily shrink, only 5%, but they are evolving both towards AI and data fluency. We will cover exactly what that means as far as data fluency in the next subject. Like I mentioned, I want to touch upon what we've said, see if anything, all the demand has increased. I can tell you guys right now, like product roles, I have seen increase so far this month in November. Remote roles are still shrinking. AI familiarity is required. So practically, I can tell you that not only were these statistics true, but are now getting emphasized this month. So to now go to the next subject, AI adoption moves from demos to ROI. So what do we mean by here? Practically, now employers are not only looking at the smaller AI agent companies, the newer workflows that were being offered, but mainly what workflows will bring back 3 options, whether it be a second here, cost savings, faster workflows, or increased revenue. So those have been like the 3 things that clients have told me so far. We'll make them pick one, adopt one AI method over another, and or not adopt AI versus, let's say, traditional tech. What increases revenue and how can you map that out in the roadmap? And what also saves operational costs and increases workflows as far as speed and or efficiency. This has been a huge topic, but just to readdress it as far as LinkedIn Insights and what I've been seeing, now most companies are formalizing 2 to 4 days within office. This is starting to increase tech hubs, especially in bigger cities. Austin is hiring a lot out of Texas. We've been seeing a lot of roles out of the Denver, Colorado area, South Florida, the Northeast, New York, Boston, California, obviously Silicon Valley. But just keep in mind that as things return to office, that will definitely increase the hubs and concentration of where talent is found. Global talent rebalancing. So I want to touch upon this. Last time we spoke about H-1B policy and how now that increased from a $10,000 sponsorship to a $100,000 sponsorship. What I've been seeing from almost every client across the board. So what I've been seeing happening is that they are only doing internal transfers now for H-1B. So that is anyone who's already been started within a process of their H-1B process, but they're not looking to obtain any new transfers. Clearly, that is just based on the money that is dealt to the sponsorship. There's been around a 15% in contract LATAM roles. And when I say LATAM, Latin America. And then also just want to emphasize for those, I'm from South Florida, so is Oscar, bilingual requirements are now starting to increase as well, as people have also seen that AI has increased fluency within being bilingual and communication patterns. A lot of people, maybe they are not conversational, but have also come to meetings with AI tools that can translate what they're saying or completely translate everything that they're doing in within teams. So that is something very big to look out for. Don't have a necessarily a percentage on that right now, but definitely wanted to address that. I wanted to unpack this one a little bit more. So increase technical depth in job descriptions. Biggest things I have been seeing within product that I never saw before. A must have knowledge for SQL, APIs, and just data fluency. So that's what I was mentioning earlier. Right now, with AI coming to the toolbox that is the product manager, they're expecting not necessarily for you to be able to do SQLs from scratch, but if you're not able to use those AI tools and understand the back end of what you're doing within the product, now that is going to be something that is definitely sought out for. We are also seeing now, as I mentioned before, portfolios versus just traditional resumes. So people want to see exactly what type of technical skills you can bring. In a product manager interview before, usually it was just cultural behavioral questions. Now they are actually asking for people to share screens and do technical insights. I haven't necessarily seen it on anything coding related per se, but just something to have in mind. Again, to reiterate, contract demand is increasing. PwC has said that they have increased their workforce by just seeing that compliance and liability has always been an issue. Right now, people want to lower the workforce in terms of full-time employees, increase contingent workforce. So that is something that is always going to be increasing, I think, from now until a late onset future. Perfect. Moving on. So foreshadowing. These are some hot takes that I have going forward. What I believe we're going to start seeing on the market. So AI and product ops. Not right now. Everyone is bringing in AI and doesn't necessarily have frameworks for monitoring and governance. So I definitely believe that's the next step. There will be traditional frameworks for AI, just how say JavaScript has the framework, React, exact same type of concept, but translating it more towards operations. As we mentioned before, and a huge part of why I believe in Product Leader Academy, portfolios over resumes. Everyone's going to start prioritizing reasoning and impact measurement. Nowadays, it's not only about putting, hey, I reduced time efficiency by 32% on a resume, but exactly how did you do that? And show me results wise how that impact was measured. So please be aware of that moving forward. I also don't think that this is going to be something that will disappear anytime soon. I truly believe that later on or right now, we're seeing a split in product manager roles. There's going to be a tie between strategic, those who are more, say, on the functional side right now, is what we can say, will start tearing towards how they can develop strategy, how they can develop marketing, how they can develop consumer satisfaction on one side. And then you'll also have product managers who are more on the technical side, per se, where it will be more how data is ingested, how it goes into the back end, and then from there, how it creates business impact. Keep in mind that the recruiter and candidate and or job seeker relationship is symbiotic. For strategic, what I really want to focus on is the beginning. How you see it's focused on insight, workflow, prototype, messaging. Here you can say this is for practically how UX people go into a building product, and then from there doing product delivery. So, like I said, I don't want to touch upon this too much, but it should, if you want to take a mental screenshot, and we'll leave a resource page later. But the whole point is this will be more of the functional strategic line, where we'll see the other parallel of the technical and system line next. So here you can see this would be more of architecture, evaluations, observability, tuning, and scaling. This would be more of the integration and product building versus the concept of creation and execution of delivery. My key takeaways: AI fluency is now required. Something that I said last time was that it is coming to be on the market. Too late. We are already here. AI fluency is now required. Please have that on your resume. Understand how you can use it either in professional context, personal context, or something hybrid, the PLA. Contract demand is increasing with hybrid and on-site returning. Again, please keep in mind that these should start returning to big cities, and it will be more of a concentrated demand as far as talent. Global hiring, to emphasize internal transfers, no new H-1Bs so far has not been the trend, as well as LATAM. One thing I actually really wanted to focus on was the results hiring and also the titles. I skipped over this, wasn't able to put it in, but something I realized, I did this myself last week. I went on to 6 or 7 job boards and put in the titles product manager, senior product manager, AI product manager, and product engineer. What I found was pretty interesting. Almost none of them said senior product manager. We were at 6,000 around roughly for most big job boards. For just normal product manager, there was around 12,000. For AI product manager, there was around 6,000. And for product engineer, there was around 4,000. So, what that can tell me as well is sometimes don't necessarily be too stuck to a title. Please make sure, even if you have 10 plus years experience, just putting product manager there. Sometimes they are arbitrary, and someone could pay 200K plus for the same type of role that only says product manager. Don't stick to just one title. Definitely have product in there, but mix and match. Some people get way too creative with it, where you'll see platform, product, AI, staffing, engineer, just something to have in mind and something to move forward with, as titles are also changing. And last but not least, to wrap up, results oriented hiring is what's coming and what is here to stay, not only for development, but for products, anything within engineering, technology. If you're able to not only show what impact you made, measure it, but then present it in a way that someone would then understand exactly how you go around building a product and delivering it, that is going to be the best takeaway as to how you land a job or how you improve your career.
That's a fascinating debrief, Danny. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And I could definitely attest. More recently, I've seen that comment on the portfolio or otherwise the proof oriented validation of a candidate. I've been seeing that coming more and more about. Where previously used to hear a lot of proof in developer roles, never really in soft skill roles like product manager. Doesn't seem like that's the case anymore moving forward. I think that's going to be here to stay. I agree with you on your assessment there. I think it's for the better. I think we're going to end up choosing better candidates that aren't flaking out in 3 or 6 months when they're actually in the role. And I think it's a better litmus test of true talent as opposed to good storytelling.
So being those ones that can cut through the noise and actually show the results. Almost all resumes nowadays are some type of AI influenced or AI enhanced. Hiring managers are starting to see replicated resumes that almost look identical with different companies. If you're able to use AI to show that, hey, look, I can be on par with the rest of them, but cut through the noise and show those results, whether it be within a portfolio, your own tools, product that you created, somehow showing through an NDA from what you've used prior. But that is definitely going to be the end all be all, especially considering like how we've spoken. Teams are getting flatter. There's going to be less engineers, and that means there's less product managers overseeing them. So what's the difference between candidate A, B, and C, it's going to be the person who knows how to cut through the noise.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up the comment on NDA. Definitely always respect those obligations that you have even after your employment ends. But there are definitely approaches and ways. This is not a deliberate advice, but consider obfuscating specific information that would be intellectual property from your prior employer. But there's a way that you can storytell and still have significant amount of clarity onto what exactly you delivered without stepping over those NDA boundaries. So do get creative. There's a lot of resources out there. We at PLA, Product Leader Academy, are trying to build some of those resources as well. It's really to deliver what you just mentioned, Danny, which is showcasing that you did deliver on what you said and say that you can continue to deliver. So it's really a proof over paper.
Absolutely. And like I mentioned, it's a tandem, it's a symbiotic relationship where the more candidates have this, the more I can push them towards hiring managers and show, hey, look, I'm the recruiter who has this, or hey, these are the candidates who have this. So it's all symbiotic in the sense of when you do find that true talent, it definitely shows. And I know before I call someone who's going to be a good candidate. So if you're able to do that, a lot of people want you to read past the resume, which obviously as a good recruiter you have to do. But if first impressions in person are the same type of thing, you have to make a good first impression. We have to play by the rules of the game. And right now those are resumes and portfolios. And I think what you're doing and what we're doing here is being on top of the game.
Awesome. Everyone, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Danny Samper is the expert on all things hiring trends, especially inside of product management. If you are interested in learning product management and deepening your skills, bridging to your next opportunity, perhaps in leadership, look no further than Product Leader Academy. We are a community that is proof first. We help you by building a portfolio, by building that proof experience so that you can speak with your future employer or in interviews with materials that you can present your skills, practical skills that are transferable and skills that employers are looking for. So we hope that you can join us in our next events. These are free events that we host for our community and also a course curriculum that we offer for free. Thank you.